when he took me out on a date. It's like he wanted to hold me hostage and he was trying to take me back to a hotel. I told him no. He drove me into the parking lot anyway. And then he turned off the keys and got out the car. And he was like, come on, let's go drink Moet and get in my jacuzzi, after I had already told him no.
Dedication, preservation, take a look inside, do your salvation, do every good work, it takes patience, like a butterfly, transformation.
What is up, guys? Sophie here, and I am back with another video. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all of my content. And also don't forget to check the description box because I always put a lot of stuff in there, such as my book specifically for single women, which you may want to get. And what we are going to be talking about today is how to stay safe online. So what prompted this is that I actually saw this photo online, and basically this woman had gotten beaten up because she met a man on the Hinge, which, by the way, is a very professionally oriented website to meet men. I have done a review on the Hinge and I will leave that down in the description box. So since I have always said I don't have an issue with people meeting their person online, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, and I do think that is a good quality way to meet people. I don't think that we should just jump face first into these situations just because the Hinge is geared towards professional singles and automatically trust these men not to use and abuse us, because as you can see, and the story is that she got beat up really bad. So apparently this is because she drove with him, she was in his car, and he began to beat her up, and it could have led to her murder. But there were some security guards during the process of this that appeared, and basically he let her go, which good for her. And that's one thing that we want to meet good quality people. We do not want to get killed, we don't want to get beat up, we don't want to get hurt. So it is very important for us to stay safe. And I think with this online thing, it is very easy for men to do this. Back in the day when you had to meet people kind of in person, it was not taboo for a man to come to your house and pick you up, and nobody thought anything of it. Really, this is what men were expected to do in my day and age. But now is definitely a different time where you might not necessarily want to do that. So let's get into some tips to keep yourself safe. So first, meet them there. Like I said before, it was really prevalent and very chivalrous for a man to come and actually pick you up. No longer. And it's not actually taboo to do that anymore. Back in my day, if a man was like, you need to drive yourself to your own date, my mom would have been looking at me like, I'm sorry, what? But nowadays, don't necessarily go by that. Don't feel like they're less manly because they don't come pick you up, or they have to pick you up from your house, because really you don't want these men to know where you live, just in case even if the date doesn't go bad, they can be a complete stalker and they could be showing up at your house uninvited, or they could like rob you or something, or even beat you up. And more than anything, you want to prevent yourself from getting into their car, because once you are in their car, then that is a situation in which they can take you anywhere. And I actually have a story on this. It was not a man that I met online, but I remember when he took me out on a date, it's like he wanted to hold me hostage and he was trying to take me back to a hotel. I told him no. He drove me into the parking lot anyway. And then he turned off the keys and got out the car. And he was like, come on, let's go drink Moet and get in my jacuzzi, after I had already told him no. I had told him no multiple times, and yet and still he drove me, because he was in control of the car, to that place. And I literally just sat in the car and I refused. And this was, like before Uber. So it wasn't like I could just call an Uber. And then after that, he took me to a secondary location, and in the car, he was like touching me and molesting me. And so it really wasn't a comfortable situation. I remember thinking, wow, this is really sucky, because I was visiting Texas for school, and he was even visiting Texas from school, but we were both from Virginia. And so he had rented a car, and really I was at the mercy of wherever he wanted to go. And then even like him touching me and me trying to I still had to kind of say no in a polite way, because I didn't want to piss him off or like have him kick me out in the middle of the highway, because I still needed to get home. And like I said, these were the days before Uber and Lyft, and so that could have potentially led to a bad situation. So anytime you get in somebody's car, you just don't want to be at the mercy to whatever they want to do to you, say to you, and touch you. And then you're like, okay, well, now they have Uber, you can always get an Uber, but why put yourself through that? You don't want anybody, if you're in their car, to have control over this situation, potentially hurt you, or to feel that, oh, I could just touch you and take you anywhere and drive anywhere, and it's okay for me to do it because you're in my car and you can't stop. The second is to tell someone where you are. I always agree with this. For any date that I go on, I will typically text or call a friend, tell them exactly where I'm going, tell them where I am, and then while I am there, also get them to text you an hour or 30 minutes, probably more so 30 minutes within the date. The reason for that is because, not to say like it'll be too late if something goes bad, because that's not what we want, but the reason for that is that you want somebody to know where you are going. And also it's not enough to just know exactly where you are going, but they actually need to follow up with you mid-date. I remember when I went on this date with somebody and we were eating, and then I told my friend like, hey, you know, I was out and about, and then we got to talking. He was like, hey, do you want to go to the Cheesecake Factory? And we did that. And I literally told my friend, hey, I met somebody, he wants to take me out, you know, because we were both hungry. Could you text me in 20 or 30 minutes just to see how the date is going and just to make sure that I'm okay? Because even if something goes bad or it's going horrifically bad, hopefully in 20 minutes, if the person can text you and they don't hear back from you, then they can notify somebody. The last thing that you want is to be sitting there and somebody knows where you are and an hour has passed by and they think the date is going very well, and that's the reason why they haven't heard from you, but really this person has like beaten you or raped you or hurt you or something, or the date has gone catastrophically wrong and now it's too late. So I would say within a reasonable amount of time, tell them when you're there, tell them that you have arrived, tell them what the person looks like. If you are meeting them online, I take a screenshot of their picture. I have done this before, and send it to the person, to your checkup person, so that they can know what this person looks like, their name and everything else. You don't have to tell your date that, but that's just for your safety. And more than anything, tell them about 15 minutes, 20 minutes in to text you. And then depending when you text them back, they can be like, oh, look, let me check my phone. And then you can say, like, if they say, are you okay? You could say, hey, text me back in another 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Or you could say, hey, I think this is going really well, don't text me back. I would not suggest, hey, this is going really well, because that person can flip. So I would say, okay, text me back in another 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever the case may be, or however long you think you're going to be there. And then once you leave from that person, also call or text the individual. I suggest calling just so that they know, like, hey, I can hear you, I know everything's good, and nobody's holding you hostage and making you like text something. So I would suggest calling once you have left and once you are on your way home, your designated person, so that they know that you actually have left the date and that you're on your way to your house. And the last is to always be vague about yourself. Even when getting to know somebody online, you can tell them the important things about you in order to get to know you, but do not tell them where you work. Do not give them specifics about where you live. I'm a single mom. Do not give them specifics about your child's name, where your child lives, pictures of your child. I have online dated and people have pictures of their kids. Do not do that. And also, I know like one time, and he, you know, was a doctor. I think I was on Luxy, I think it was. And literally he was like, oh, I see that you're in this area because he lives in this area. Where is it exactly that you live? Don't answer those questions. Just be very vague, like, oh, I live near blah, blah, blah. And that thing could be like 5 miles away from you, right? So really try to be private in the specific things that they're asking you, that they can try to find you or identify you. And the reason why you want to do that is because, once again, you don't want them to be able to stalk you, find you, or if the date goes bad, to find you later on and like try to kidnap you or something crazy. You kind of want to keep all of that stuff private, at least until you're able to date and determine who they are and if you want to see them again, or if in the future you actually want them to know where you live. All right, guys, so those are my tips on how to keep yourself safe during online dating. Remember, please do that, because this story was definitely so heartbreaking. I don't want anybody getting hurt, kidnapped, beat up, or anything like that. Definitely protect yourself. It doesn't matter what site that you're on. It doesn't matter who the man say he is, because anybody can be anybody online. Just be sure to protect yourself, and I definitely hope that these tips help you do that. And I will talk to you another day, another time. Bye, guys.
Not ready for the show to end? It doesn't have to. You can head over to my site where you can read hundreds of articles. And also, you can feel free to shop my store where I have all of my products for sale. And last but not least, for even more video content, feel free to visit my YouTube channel where I talk about a wide array of content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay blessed.